Being in love with someone who has avoidant tendencies can be very confusing and tiring at the same time. And honestly, I know it from my own experience. You care about them, but you are often left unsure about where you stand and what's actually happening between you two. And a lot of people in this situation just keep trying to be more patient or understanding. They are just hoping that things will eventually feel easier. But sometimes the most helpful thing is not trying harder, but actually it's checking in with yourself. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 questions that you can ask yourself if you are dealing with someone who has avoidant tendencies. You can journal, you can spend some time to actually answer these questions deeply, and I'm telling you, once you start journaling and writing about it, you will find a lot of interesting things about the entire relationship. Question number 1. Do I feel calmer over time or more on the edge? And every relationship has moments where you feel unsure, and that's normal. But when you look at the bigger picture, does being with this person make you feel more relaxed and secure, or just more anxious and more tense? Do you feel like you can be yourself, like the real you, or you are always watching what you say or what you do? And this is very important because a healthy connection usually starts to feel steady over time. If you are feeling more stressed the longer you stay, that's really worth paying attention to. Question number 2. Am I doing most of the adjusting? In avoidant relationships, one person often ends up doing most of the adapting, right? You wait longer for replies, you ask for less, and you just tell yourself not to expect too much, and you don't want to be perceived as too much, right? So you can ask yourself honestly, are you meeting in the middle, or are you constantly shifting yourself to keep things peaceful? Are your needs taken seriously or mostly just brushed aside? And over time, always being the flexible one can just wear you down, even if you love the person. And this is a very good question, honestly, because most of the time, if you are dealing with the avoidant, you are shrinking your needs. Question number 3. When they pull away, does anything get fixed later? This is a good question as well. I mean, needing space is not the problem. A lot of people need space sometimes, and that's totally fine. What matters is what happens afterward. When they come back, do they talk about what happened, or they just go back to normal? Do they reassure you, or they try to understand how it affected you? Well, you have to think about it, because if distance keeps happening but nothing ever gets talked through, it can start to feel less like space and more like being left alone. Question number 4. Am I loving who they are now, or who I hope they will become in the future? This one is very hard, but it's important. It's easy to fall in love with the version of someone you see in good moments, right? So you can ask yourself if you are staying because of how things actually are most of the time, or because you are holding on to the idea that things will change if you just wait long enough, if you just give it a bit more time. Because honestly, hope can keep you invested even when the present reality is not meeting your needs. You have to answer that question very honestly. Do you love who they are right now, or do you love the version that you hope that they will be in the future? Question number 5. Do I feel bad for wanting more? This is a good question as well. In avoidant relationships, wanting closeness or consistency can start to feel like you are asking for too much. But honestly, these are totally normal emotional needs. And you have to notice if you feel guilty for wanting more time and more effort, or just better communication overall. Do you often talk yourself out of your needs to avoid making them uncomfortable? Because wanting more doesn't mean that you are needy. Feeling like you have to shrink usually means that something is just not balanced. I'm telling you, take some time to journal and answer these questions very deeply. You can just write a few pages of answers to all of these questions, and I'm telling you, you will discover a lot of interesting things that you never thought about before. And these questions are not about proving that the avoidant is wrong or that they are a bad person. It's about whether the relationship is actually something you can stay in without slowly losing yourself. Because honestly, love isn't supposed to feel like constant waiting or just guessing. And remember that you can care very deeply about someone and you can still admit that this situation is not good for you and it's time to leave. The main takeaway I want you to get is that instead of pushing yourself to be endlessly patient, you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to pay attention to patterns and not just apologies or good moments, okay? You have to notice how your body feels in the relationship and not just how much you care. You don't have to make the decision right away, but you just have to think about it and you don't have to stay confused forever. That's what you have to remember. At the same time, I want you to remember that being in love with the avoidant doesn't automatically mean that the relationship can't work, because honestly, it can, but the avoidant has to be willing to put some effort into just improving their behavior and fixing their avoidant tendencies to actually meet your needs. Because if they are not even aware that they are doing all of that, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually convince them to treat you better. So grab your journal and just answer all of these questions. I'm going to leave these questions in the description of this video so you can access them very quickly. And if this quick video helped you think things through a bit more clearly, you are welcome to stay. I'm going to record more videos about avoidance, anxious attachment, and being more secure. So if you want to learn more about becoming more secure, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. See you next time.